Namaskar. India versus South Africa. I told you there was going to be a surprise, and the surprise was the verdict. India went in as the front runners, but ended up losing the series to South Africa. So there'll be a lot of people asking a lot of questions. Now, before we go into what went wrong, I just want to first clarify one thing about that HawkEye controversy on the third day. What really happened? Now, somebody who knows the game very well has explained to me that HawkEye is separate company, separate from the broadcaster. So HawkEye has its own set of cameras, and they capture the video, and then they have their software that predicts the ball tracking. If you remember, some time ago, there was all this evaluation going on for DRS. Should we have ball tracking? Should we have HawkEye, and so on and so forth? So HawkEye is a company that is a specialist which does ball tracking. They cover many sports. Cricket is just one of them. So if you look at the replay where the leg before wicket of 𝗪𝗂𝘀𝗁 by Ashwin is in question, sportscaster now gets a feed from HawkEye, which is basically projecting the trajectory of the ball. So there is nothing that the broadcaster could have done. This is now completely coming from HawkEye. Now you can argue that HawkEye got it wrong. Well, HawkEye is a software company. It must be having a lot of algorithms that characterize how the ball's going to do, how the ball's going to move, what the ball's going to do, and so on and so forth. They may even have a factor for the height of the bowler. I mean, one could make the argument that if Ashwin was 6 inches shorter, maybe he would have got that LBW. I'm just guessing here. We don't know the algorithm that was used. However, it would be a good exercise for those who can afford to take the video feed and construct your own version of HawkEye. It is possible to do it. You just have to do some software writing. I mean, there are many of us who are software enthusiasts, and then we can come up with our own HawkEye kind of a software. It might not be as good as HawkEye because HawkEye has been tweaking this over a long period of time, but at least it is something that you can say, I have my own predictor, and according to my predictor, that person was out or that person was not out. See, there are two things here. One is you are finding a way out for your passion, and the other thing is you're using your talent, your skills to do something that might, who knows, it could be, something that you might be able to sell for a profit. So that is the HawkEye part. Next, what is test match cricket? Test match cricket is 4 T's, according to me: talent, technique, temperament, and tenacity. What is tenacity here? Tenacity is to hang in there. You keep, probing, and you keep trying to play, and you keep missing, but you still stick to your basics. You know that the bowler is going to tire at some point or err, and then you wait for that, and then you put away that ball. So that is tenacity. As a bowler, you keep finding you keep beating the batsman, but you're not finding his edge. What do? You have got your processes. You keep doing that until at one point the batsman does edge it. And same thing for fielding. You have to have the tenacity, especially in the slips, where you have to focus, you have to concentrate for long periods of time. So in between balls, you need to not do that. I mean, we have heard a lot of people talk about all these things. So among these 4 things, 4 T's, if you will, where did India go wrong? Well, the signs that India is not going to do well were there in the World Test Championship. More or less the same team played then too. Bumrah didn't get his bowling going that time. And frankly, here also, Bumrah only had a couple of times when he was at the top of his game. And other times, there was always that thing where you are doing well enough to beat the bat, but you're not doing that little bit of variation that causes the batsman to make an error. So these were some of the problems that I think Indian batsmen failed. I think India as a batting unit failed more than the bowling unit. Also, as a batting unit, the middle order has been pretty bad. I'm not mincing any words. Virat Kohli or 𝗀𝗂𝗀𝗀𝗀 Pujara or Ajinkya Rahane, as a combined unit, they have not fired for a while now, about 2 years now. In fact, if you remember, in the New Zealand series at home, who saved India the blushes? A certain new debutant called Sree Iyer. And remember, I had told you at the beginning of the first test that Iyer should be playing in place of Rahane, and Rahane should be only like a backup in case something goes wrong. I mean, he would have played the second test because Virat Kohli was not available, but that is how I would have played the 11. That did not happen. India fell back on their experience. I think now, more or less, two players are pretty much gone. They need to go back to domestic circuit and hone their technique, and not just technique, but the tenacity to play, even if you're not in good form, to somehow hang in there until the bowler tires and then you start scoring. Because that one ball meeting the middle of the bat gives the batsman a lot of confidence, and suddenly he's a batsman transformed. And I don't want to look at Kohli as doing well. He has set such high standards for himself that not having 100 for so long, whether it is tests or ODI, is itself sort of like a failure for him. So he'll have to find out his batting mojo. I don't know what is missing in his game. Only he can figure that out. However, I will say this. The second innings of the last test, India had a real chance because the partnership between Pant and Kohli was about 93 runs. And if Kohli had hung in there for some more time, the bowlers would have tired, and that would have given a chance for the other batsmen that followed, Ashwin and Shardul Thakur, to score more runs. Why Kohli did that thing when he had been so disciplined outside the off stump, for that one ball to go after and make the same harakiri that he had done in the previous test, only he can answer. So that was Kohli's, that wicket to me defined that India was definitely going to lose the test match, regardless of the brilliant 100 by Pant. One thing about Pant, he has a lot of hand-eye coordination, and that is actually getting him the success. However, as he ages, that might be a bit of a problem. I'm just saying something. I know you are all going to get riled up. Say, okay, listen, there are only two people who scored hundreds, and that you are saying something that you don't like Rishabh Pant. Nothing of that sort. I'm just saying, if you look at the way he will fire like this 1 in every 5 innings or 10 innings. But for him to make consistently 30, 40, 50 critical runs, he needs to look at his technique, I think. And as far as Rahul is concerned, even at the very first test innings of his, you should go back and look at how he got out. He got out trying to hook, I think, Mitchell Johnson, I should say, Mitchell Johnson. And then he scored 100 in that series in Australia. And he's again, after scoring the 100, he went for the hook shot and he fell. So for some reason, his hook shot is not really, he's not able to nail that. And he has gotten out a few times in this series also playing the hook shot. I think that's something that he needs to look at. Also, guys, I'm just saying what I'm seeing. Doesn't mean that these players don't know these problems. But what surprises me is if they do the same thing over and over again and again. Now, as far as I'm concerned, the biggest disappointment for me on this tour has been the performance of Ravichandran Ashwin. Oh, yeah, yes. Though many of you say that, oh, you are a Tamram, he's a Tamram, you always support him. Listen, as far as his performance is concerned in this series, I have been very disappointed. Why? Every spinner was not getting any purchase at all. So you can say that as a spinner, he didn't quite do as well as he was expected to do. But neither did Keshav Maharaj. But that's not really a comparison. He's an all-time great as a spinner. He should have made something to happen. He should have had something that he could have found to get more wickets. And he didn't do that. Especially on the third test, the ball was spinning. But yet somehow, the other side, the batsmen are all very young. They're not very old in test match experience. They're between the three of them, Bauma, Keegan Peterson and Vanderson. There are only 100. And these guys had what, 5700s or something, Indian middle order. So the fact that India didn't capitalize on that is really, really sad. But back to Ashwin. I know that he takes his batting very seriously, yet somewhere something went wrong. Except for that one chancy 46, he didn't really look like he wanted to stay there. Again, this is what I'm saying, but more importantly, I want to share something for the viewers who may or may not have watched the game in Star Sports. I watched it on Tamil. So Star Sports has different languages. There is Telugu, there is Tamil, there is Hindi, and I think there are some other languages also. And I watched it in Tamil. And some of his colleagues who are now commentators, such as Abhinav Mukund or 𝗪𝗀𝗀𝗀 Ramesh, and I think there's another guy, Nani, and a few other players. And they were able to guess how the bowler was going to bowl to Ashwin before the ball was delivered. And they were also saying, the ball is going to be like this. Ashwin should not do this. And guess what? To my disappointment, almost every time he did that, and he got out. So it's very, very sad when somebody who's such a supreme striker of the ball, when he's on song, he's like 𝗍𝗶𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀. He just touches the ball and the ball races away to the boundary. And yet somehow, somewhere, something is going wrong and his batting is not showing the talent that he has. Unfortunately for him, this was one series where his place in the playing 11 was not going to be challenged because Jadeja was injured. And he has not done his cause any good by, playing or performing with the bat the way he did. I did see something good though. He was running quite fast, chasing the ball on the field, which means that whatever he has been trying to do to get himself fitter, he has been able to do that. However, batting is something where you have to have some luck, absolutely. But I have seen Ashwin play very carefully with the bat close to his pads at the beginning phase of an innings, and when he does some things like that, then after some time the body settles down, the mind settles down. It's mind over matter, and then the thing works. For all this from a person who's not played cricket at any serious level, yet it just feels bad that India had so much talent, and yet India ended up on the losing side. Thanks for watching. Please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Namaskar.